Good morning, it's Tuesday. It is the start of a new vlog. It is 10 o'clock, but I don't have to get ready to log into work because I have the day off today, which is so exciting because Charlotte also has the day off. So we get to spend the day together and I'm truly so excited about it. But really quick, let me talk about my reading plans for this week. First off, we have Catherine of Aragon by Alison Weir. This is a historical fiction about King Henry VIII's first wife, the true queen, Catherine of Aragon. I read 21 pages of this last night in last week's vlog, and I'm excited to continue on with it this week. And then we have Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. This is a thriller that has a podcast element. I don't know too much about this one, but it is the professional book girl pick for the month, and I am determined to have it read before the podcast episode comes out for it. And then I have The Girl in the Mirror to read because this was one of my 24 and 2024 books that I picked for this month. Oh, also, that reminds me. I also need to read The Winter Garden, or Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna for the same reason. So, will I read all of these? I say this every time. I probably will not read all of them, but I'm gonna make a serious effort to. So, that's the start of the vlog. Welcome, and I'll check in later. Hey everyone, it is Tuesday night. We had a pretty nice day. We just relaxed in bed this morning since we both had the day off, Charlotte and I. Then I had to bring Will to a doctor's appointment, and then we got home, we ate dinner, we did a whole bunch of cleaning, and now we're sitting down to probably watch some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I did want to just quickly update that I did do some reading. So I read like 40 pages. Not much, but the words are really small on these pages, and it's like, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a fast read. It feels like a fast read, but it's clearly not, since I'm only up to page 66. I'm enjoying it, though I will say it's a little odd because there's definitely some racism and anti-Semitism in here, and it's kind of weird because I know that, like, this is a story about Catherine of Aragon. So, like, this is the 15th century, so it is, or is it the 15th century or just the 1500s? It's the 1500s, so there's definitely going to be racism and anti-Semitism views for these characters. So it's, like, true to the character, but, like, do we also need to have that in there? I'm, like, not quite sure, like, what the stance is on that in, like, historical fiction about the Tudors. But it was kind of, I wasn't prepared for it, and so I was shocked by it. So I just think it's worth noting that that kind of language is in these books so that you can be prepared. I am ultimately enjoying it so far. Catherine has gotten married to Arthur. Arthur is not doing well. He is probably going to be dying soon, as we know from history. I'm going to keep reading it this week. I don't know how much more reading I'll do tonight, but we'll find out. So I'm going to eat my sweet treat and watch some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and you'll probably see me tomorrow. So, good night. Hey everyone, it's Wednesday. It's the end of the day of my work day, so it's actually like 8 o'clock at night. And I wanted to do a quick update. Did I edit my vlog today? No. I was super lazy this morning. Then I thought somebody was going to come take our couch out today while I was on my lunch, so I didn't edit on my lunch, so I'll have to do it tomorrow morning. I have read, though. So I have read up to page 163 in Catherine of Aragon, the True Queen. We have gone through her whole journey up to becoming queen. So she was the princess of Spain. The Spanish princess. The princess from Spain. Part 1. And she comes to England. And now, none of this is technically spoilers because this is history. But essentially we have Catherine of Aragon. She comes to England to marry Prince Arthur. And Prince Arthur dies very shortly after their marriage, their wedding. And they don't consummate the wedding. And so she's kind of in limbo where, like, she's a widow, but she was never married in that kind of sense. And then to maintain this alliance between Spain and England, she is betrothed to King Henry, or Prince Henry at the time, and thus leads through a whole ordeal with her dowry and the king kind of trying to make other alliances with other countries, and then also not taking care of Catherine. Like, there's a lot of, she's not given any money, she's not given any way to pay for her ladies and the people who are there to take care of her, and so she's almost destitute. She's like this destitute princess living in the castles, and everybody's acting, it's wild that she went through this. And then the king ends up dying after this whole ordeal, and Prince Henry is like, I want to marry you, I'm in love with you. And so they get married, and they have no issues consummating their marriage. And so it is actually important if you don't have like a understanding of like the background between Catherine of Aragon, Catherine of Aragon, and Prince Arthur and Prince Harry. It is important that she did not consummate their marriage for like history purposes. So now we are at where she becomes queen. Eventually our good friend Anne Boleyn is going to become her lady's maid. But I think we get to see at least some good times with her and Henry. Questionable. I don't know. I am going to do some laundry really quick. I have laundry that I have to fold. So I'm going to do that. And then hopefully by the time I do that, Charlotte will be home. And we have Vanderpump Rules to watch. So yeah, that's my update. I'm feeling very just like not with it today, so I apologize. But anyway, I'm gonna go do my laundry. I'm gonna read maybe a little bit more of this tonight. But I am enjoying it. Also, I realized I don't know what's wrong with me. I think it's because Easter is happening so early. It's like happening in March. I didn't realize March was over on Sunday, and I forgot that the podcast episode for Kay Red What's podcast, Professional Book Girl, is coming out tomorrow, so there's no way I can read March's pick in time. But you know what? One of these months I'll get it read on time. It's just not going to be this month. Hey y'all. It's Thursday. I've had a day. It's been a bad day, and I'm not in a great mood. Why is my camera just moved? Are you kidding me? Are you gonna stay? So anyway, today is not my day. We're just not having a good day, and that's okay. It's fine. But I felt weird not even just checking in because I still haven't gotten last week's vlog edited. I was supposed to do it yesterday morning, and I couldn't. And then I also couldn't do it yesterday during my lunch. So then I was like, I'll do it today in the morning before I wake up. But then I woke up, or not before I wake up, but like right after I wake up and before I go to work. But then I woke up and I was in a bad mood and I didn't want to do it. And so I didn't do it. And then I had a bad day at work. And then I couldn't do it again during my lunch. And then I got off work. I'm off work. And I'm just like, I am sitting at my computer because I do think after I do this update, I'm going to try and edit the vlog and then just like schedule it to be published in public in the morning. And I'm trying not to beat myself up too badly because I have consistently, my goal was to just post every week on Wednesday a vlog because I just like making them. I like watching vlogs and I like making them. I think they're really fun. But then what happens is if I get off my schedule, then I get really anxious and like all worked up about the fact that I'm late and I didn't do it. And then I will like just constantly make excuses to not like follow through and not make the vlog. And then what will happen is that weeks will go by and I'll just keep filming like vlog clips, but then it becomes overwhelming because I have so much that I haven't edited. And I don't want to get to that point. So I really do just need to sit down and edit. My vlogs don't take that long to edit. So really the fact that I'm being all worked up about it is kind of babyish of me. But I also don't want to be too critical because I have been very consistent all year about getting the vlog up. So like 1 week, oh hi Midnight. If like one week I'm late, like no one's gonna be mad. I don't think anybody's gonna be like commenting like, oh my god, you were late, how dare you. That's just all in my head, you know what I mean? Like nobody but me really cares that if I post the vlog tomorrow it will technically be 2 days late. I'm just like in my head about it, you know what I mean? Even Midnight, she's like, girl, you've got to calm down. Why don't you just pet me for a second? I also didn't do much reading in Catherine of Aragon today, and I'm not sure that's the book that I'm in the mood for right now, and there were 2 thrillers. Hi. I'm getting kisses. There were 2 thrillers that I wanted to read before the end of the month. And the end of the month is on Sunday. So that's in 3 days. So I might... Thrillers generally are pretty quick for me if I like focus on them. So maybe what I'll do is... maybe I'll do a little tandem reading, like read some of my thriller and then read some of my historical fiction, you know what I mean, Midnight? She doesn't care. But anyway, that's my update for now. Not too much exciting, but I'm gonna edit last week's vlog, so me and Midnight will check in later. Hey y'all, it is Friday. It's lunchtime from work, so it's like 5 p.m. I ordered myself some Korean chicken because it's Friday and I just need a little pick-me-up. And I also did get my last week's vlog edited and uploaded today, so that's very exciting, even though it's like 2 days late. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm also taking a break from my historical fiction read, Catherine of Aragon, because there were some other books that I wanted to read that I think I can get done really quick. The first one of that was A Girl in the Mirror by Rose Carlyle. I have read a whopping, let's see, 14 pages of this today. Oh my god, she's wild. We are going to sit and we're going to read this on my lunch. Essentially, we have Iris. She is a twin, and not only is she a twin, but she's like mirrored from her twin. So like all of her organs are technically on the wrong side of her body. And when like you look at, when she looks at her face in the mirror, she actually sees her twin sister's face, because like where her left side is fuller and her left cheekbone is higher, her sister's right cheek is fuller and her right cheekbone is higher. So like they are like mirrored opposites of each other. And so like clearly this has probably caused some identity issues between Iris. Absolutely. So we are starting the story. We know that Iris is not doing so well. Like, she's not having the best life. She has been left by her husband, and she is very jealous of her sister Summer. Her sister Summer has the best life. She has a handsome husband. She has a great house. Everything that Iris wants, Summer has. And the most recent thing that Summer has that Iris wants is this yacht that they grew up using. Their father has died, and Summer and her husband bought the yacht from the estate, and she's very jealous about it. She wants the yacht. And she gets a call from Summer, who is using the yacht for a year with Adam, her husband, and is basically, we need you to come to Thailand to help Adam sail this yacht, because their child needs emergency surgery in this international hospital, but they can't stay in Thailand because of like government and like visas and stuff. So she was like, we need you to come and get on this yacht and help Adam sail. One moment. So my food just got here. So that's where we are. And I definitely think that I could breeze through this if I just sit and read. And that's what I intend to do. But since my food just got here, first, I'm going to get my food all ready to eat. And then we're going to sit and we're going to eat and we're going to read. And it's going to be great. And I'll check in later. Bye! Hey friends, it's about 9:30, so Charlotte should be getting out of work soon. So I wanted to do a quick update on The Girl in the Mirror. I'm about 89 pages in so far, and I'm enjoying it. I definitely don't think it's going to be like a 5-star read or anything, or like anything mind-blowing, for example, but it is on my list of books to read for 2024, so I definitely want to finish it. And I think I'm gonna have a good time. It feels weird to keep reading a book when I know it's not gonna be like a 5-star read or anything, but who knows? It might turn around. I don't want to say too much about it because it's a thriller, so I think you can spoil a thriller pretty easily. I think oftentimes even on like the Dust Jacket, they give way too much information for a thriller sometimes. But and there's a lot going on in the story that I wasn't necessarily expecting. There's this sibling twin dynamic that's being discussed. There's clearly a dysfunctional family. There's an inheritance. They're alone on this boat. What was said in the Dust Jacket still hasn't happened yet, and we're 80, almost 90 pages in. So that seems like, it just seems odd that it would be on the Dust Jacket and in the synopsis when we are almost 100 pages into the book and it hasn't happened yet. So it's just, I'm like, it seems like if it was going to be in the Dust Jacket, it should have happened earlier, because now it feels almost, I don't want to necessarily say it's a spoiler, but I'm like waiting for this thing to occur that's not occurring, and I don't know if that makes any sense. Midnight is making some biscuits. She has a very big order due. She's waited all day. Hey everyone, coming to you from my desk before I log in for work, and I have a reading update for you. I finished The Girl in the Mirror by Rose Carlyle. I gave this a 3-star. I stayed up until like 1 in the morning because I couldn't stop reading it, which is a good sign for a thriller. But this book, there's a line for me at which I'm willing to suspend my disbelief, and this book crossed it. And each time it crossed it, I was like, okay, well, we'll suspend disbelief for just a little bit longer, and then it would cross it again. When I read the last page, I literally was like, are you kidding me? Like, audibly, I forgot that my girlfriend was sleeping right next to me, and I said, are you kidding me, out loud? And then she woke up, and I had to tell her at 1 in the morning about the absolute ridiculousness that this book was. At the same time, though, I read this book in about 6 hours. I could not put it down. It was very thrilling and engaging, and it was enjoyable to read. So I definitely think that this is like a great book for somebody who wants just a fun, quick, fast thriller to read. Maybe you are going to be going to the beach or the ocean. Maybe you like Below Deck and you like yachting. Definitely this book would be for you. It just wasn't my favorite. I am glad to have read it though, because I can cross that book off my list of things to read, and I can eventually unhaul it at the end of the year because I won't be keeping the book on my shelf, but I enjoyed reading it. So I'm going to give it a 3-star, but it wasn't anything like special or absolutely incredible. However, I did start reading Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. This is about our main girl, Lucy. She was best friends with Savvy when they were kids. And when they're like 22 or 23, Savvy is murdered. And Lucy is found walking with all of Savvy's blood on her clothes, underneath her nails, etc. But she doesn't remember anything about that night. And she's not ever arrested for this murder, but everyone suspects that she is the one who committed this murder. And she's tried to move on with her life. It's 5 years later, and a podcast, Listen for the Lie, has decided to open up this murder investigation, and they are going to try and investigate it on their podcast. And so this opens up a bunch of old wounds, and she has to go back to this town that she hasn't been in since she was accused of this murder, and she's going to try and solve the murder. I have read 10 pages of it. I already like it infinitely more than I liked the first 10 pages of The Girl in the Mirror. So I have high hopes for this one. This one was also the Professional Book Girl book club pick, but I didn't read it in time. So once I read it, I can listen to the podcast episode where she talks about it. And apparently everybody else has really enjoyed it, and Kayla also liked it, if I am remembering what she posted on her Bookstagram correctly. But I'm really enjoying it, and so far the chapters are really short, which is one of my favorite things about a thriller, because it like keeps the it like makes me not want to put it down. So I'm excited to be able to read this like when I go on my breaks and on my lunch and stuff. And I think that I might be able to finish this today, which will be fun. I'll have read 2 thrillers in 2 days. So, yeah, this is the plan. Read this, didn't love it. Reading this, I'm really loving it. Hopefully, maybe it'll be a 5-star. We'll see. Okay, but it's just about time for me to log into work, so I am going to do that, and I will check in later. Bye. Hey, it is Saturday night. It's 8:40. I have been making some really good progress in Listen for the Lie. I am really enjoying this. So it's set up really cool. So we have Lucy. She's our main girl, and we are following her, but in between like her chapters, we are getting like transcripts of the podcast that's airing while this is happening, like while the story is being told. So we are getting information about this murder that happened through the podcast as information comes out, and Lucy is like trying to remember what's happening. And I don't want to talk too much about like the actual plot because I think it'll give it away, but I am really enjoying it. I'm like 40-something% of the way through the book, so I definitely won't be finished. I definitely won't be going to sleep tonight until I finish the book, because I need to know what happens. So anyway, that's just my quick update to tell you that I'm thoroughly enjoying this, especially after last night's thriller, which I had a good time reading, but I didn't love it. So I'm really hoping that I don't get disappointed by this one. I hope that it stays feeling like a 5-star read, because right now it feels like a 5-star read. So hey everyone, it's Sunday. Happy Easter. It is like 6 p.m., but we were up and doing Easter things all morning, and during the day we went to my aunt's house for Easter dinner, and then we came home and Charlotte took a little nap. Will relaxed in his room, and I did some chores. So now it's time to sit down and read Catherine of Aragon. This is all I'm gonna do the rest of the night until me and Charlotte maybe watch some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills when Will goes to sleep, but my main priority is to read Catherine of Aragon. I'm on page 186, and this is, I'm pretty sure, like a 600-page book, so I don't know if at this point I'll be able to finish it, which is kind of disappointing because I really wanted to finish this in March, but we're just gonna wait and see what happens. I'm gonna do my best, and if we finish it, we finish it, and that will be great. I did want to just mention, because I realized this last night while I was watching TikTok, Ben, the character from Listen for the Lie, the podcaster, in my head, I was picturing him as Matt Shearer from WBZ News because he is one of my favorite TikTokers and I love watching his stories. So like in my head the whole time, this like tall, brunette, kind of nerdy hot guy was Matt Shearer. So I just thought that was funny, and Charlotte thought it was funny. So for any New England people out there who may have Matt Shearer on your TikTok For You page, that's who I was picturing for Listen for the Lie. So that's all. That's my update for now. I'm going to relax in bed and do some reading. So it is Monday. It's the afternoon. Charlotte had the morning off this morning, so we were just laying around and doing nothing. So I didn't really have much to update you on. But it is April 1st, which means it is time to set our TBR. It also means that there's a new Midnight. Midnight wants to be in on it too. So there's a new set of challenges for the Little Swifties book club that I'm in, which means I have to build my TBR around that. But first, we are gonna do our little grab bag book because I'm hoping that maybe I'll grab something that I can use for one of those challenges. Technically, we only have to read one. What was I doing with my hands? One of the 4 challenges, but there's incentive if you read all 4 of the challenges. So I would really like to read all 4 of the challenges, but my TBRs are always so long and I never actually read all of the books on them, so it's kind of hard. The Oleander Sword. What is that one? So this is the one that I just picked up. The Oleander Sword. I don't remember what that is. Hold on. Okay, so I found it, and it is The Oleander Sword by Tasha Suri. This is the second book in the Burning Kingdom series, following the Jasmine Throne. I really love the Jasmine Throne, so I am really excited to pick this up, especially since this book is the second in a trilogy, and I'm pretty sure the third book is coming out this year. So this would also make progress on a series that I've started and haven't finished, but I don't think it will count for any of the Bookish Swiftie challenges, but that's okay. It's fine. But this is the first book on our TBR. The next 2 books I did have to go to Barnes & Noble today to pick up. The first is for the book club pick for Kayla's podcast, Professional Book Girl, and that is Right on Cue by Fallon Ballard. I haven't read either of the other 2 books by Fallon Ballard, so I'm hoping that it's not like a series and that you have to read the first 2 before you read this one, because I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to read this. but it is a romance and it's relatively short. So I'm going to try and prioritize this month so that I can actually participate in the book club and send in my thoughts, because I haven't been able to do that so far this year. So this is the next book on our TBR. Then the two book club picks, the adult pick and the YA pick, are Bride by Ali Hazelwood, which I'm super excited to read. And then Hafsa Faizal's A Tempest of Tea, which I'm also very excited to read. The problem with this, though, is that it's set in the same world as Hafsa Faizal's other series, and I haven't finished that yet. So I feel like I need to finish that one before I can read The Tempest of Tea. So I do have We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faizal on the TBR. I really loved this first book in the series, so I am very, very excited to finish it. I think the reason I didn't immediately pick it up was because I didn't want the series to end, so maybe I'll treat it as like a binge weekend where I finish this book, or I read this book and then I just jump right into the next series set in the same world, but we'll see. So that's the next book on my TBR. And then we have my nonfiction pick for the month. Now, I was going back and forth on whether I was going to just count some of the extra nonfictions that I've read for last month as like the nonfiction picks for April and June, or April and May. But I already have some on my shelf, so I figured like I'll just keep going, and then maybe later on in the year, if I miss a month or if nothing is like super intriguing, then I'll just have those like stored up that I can use. So the nonfiction pick that I'm going to be reading is Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain. I am very excited to read this. I'm not a cook. And I'm not a chef, and I don't really know how to cook. I've always been intrigued by Anthony Bourdain and these books, and Charlotte picked this one up for me while she was in Scotland, so I'm very excited to read that. And then we have the 24 and 2024 books. So I only read one of my picks last month, so I'm only gonna pick another one. We are gonna be kind of behind, but with the 4 challenges for the Bookish Swifties pick, I don't want to pick too many books, even though you could already argue that I have too many books on my TBR, but that's neither here nor there. So I am gonna keep Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna on my TBR, especially since I was going to pick this one up next anyway, after I finish the book that I'm currently reading. So this one will just stay on my TBR. And then the next one is Even Though I Knew the End by C.L. Polk. I'm very excited for this one. I've been excited for this one since it came out. Also, just like the cover is just absolutely gorgeous, and it's a pretty quick read, so I bet I could breeze through it in one sitting. So those are my two 24 and 2024 book picks. And now we are into the challenges for the Bookish Swifties book club. The first is also going to count as my classic for the month. These are all based on the new Taylor Swift album that's coming out this month, the Tortured Poets Department. So it's one for each of the albums, each of the different versions that Taylor Swift put out. So first we have the manuscript, which is to read a play. So I've chosen All's Well That Ends Well by William Shakespeare, and I'm counting this as a classic because William Shakespeare, it's a classic in my mind. So that's covering, that's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And then we have The Black Dog, which is read a book with an animal POV, and I'm going with The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. I'm not actually 100% sure this is told by the perspective of the unicorn, but I googled it and it said that it was. So that's what I'm going with, and that's why it's on the TBR. And then The Bolter is the one for read a book where the main character is running away from something, and I am going to see if I can count The Winter Garden towards that. And then the other one is read a book with a seaside setting. And I have a few that I'm kind of tempted by. One is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, because that's a romance. It's pretty quick. I bet I could read it really quickly, and so it might not make my TBR feel as overwhelming as it already feels. And then the other one is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid, which I've had on my TBR since it came out and I haven't read it yet. But I'm gonna hold off on deciding between one of those two based on how the rest of the reads this month go. So here is my potential TBR. Yet again, it's way more overwhelming than a TBR should, but I like making my TBRs kind of unrealistic, if you will, because it sets the expectation that I already know that I'm probably not going to read all of these, and then I don't feel super guilty if I'm feeling in the mood to read something else. So it's helping me structure my reading, because I have noticed that I've read a lot more this year already than I did last year, just in the amount and the volume that I'm reading. But it's also because I already know that logically, most likely I'm not going to read all of these. I am more reasonable with myself when I'm in the mood to read something else. So I'm getting both the structure of a TBR while being able to be kind of more of a mood reader, which is what I only did last year. And then because I was only mood reading, I would read a book and then I would maybe not pick up another book right away because I didn't have like a TBR set and picked out for myself that I was trying to get through. So it's like I have the best of both worlds. But anyway, this is this. I'm going to eat my lunch really quick before I go pick up William. I am hoping that I'll finish Catherine of Aragon, The True Queen, today or tomorrow, so that I'm not starting my April TBR too late by carrying that over so long. But I don't think I'll finish it today, if I'm being completely honest with you. So I also think I forgot to show you, because I think I put in some B-reel of me going to Barnes & Noble today, and you saw me pick up both the Right on Cue and All's Well That Ends Well. But I also picked up Thirst by Marina Yusuk. I'm going to have to Google how to pronounce her last name. But I found the last copy that also had a 20% off sticker. And I'm pretty sure it's Sapphic Vampires. So I had to have it. So that's also a little mini book haul for you. So that's a lot of content right here in this 10 minutes. So I'm so sorry, but I hope you liked it. Bye. Hey y'all, it's me at midnight, coming to you live, well not really live, to wrap up the vlog. Midnight, do you have anything to say? No, she doesn't. Bye. Anyway, I'm about to start work. But I thought I would update you really quick, and just wrap up the vlog. So I didn't finish Catherine of Aragon, The True Queen by Alison Weir. I did manage to read 306 pages, so we made it about halfway through. It's good. I'm enjoying it, though I will say that like halfway through, I am kind of ready for the book to be over. And we're only halfway through, but I also don't feel like I want to DNF it, because I am interested and I do want to see what's happening. And I think once we get to Anne Boleyn, then maybe things will start getting a little more exciting. Right now, it's just been a lot of sadness. It's been a lot of, trigger warning, stillbirths, deaths of babies, because Catherine of Aragon did have 7 pregnancies with King Henry VIII, and she did have babies, and they were either stillbirths or they died very shortly after birth, and so she only had 1 living child. So it's just been a lot of sadness, and that's been hard to read, if I'm being honest with you, even though it's history. I think especially knowing that this is something that somebody actually went through, with the added pressures of like being the queen, and it's kind of like your only job to give the king an heir. Like, I can't imagine the stress that would cause, and I'm certain that the stress did not help matters at all for Catherine of Aragon. So it's just been kind of sad. It's just been kind of a bummer. But I am going to keep reading it over the next week, and hopefully I will start to enjoy it more. And then I read The Girl in the Mirror by Rose Carlyle. This was really interesting. Oh, I have a piece of cat hair or something in my lip gloss, in my chapstick. Ugh. I read The Girl in the Mirror by Rose Carlyle. This, I gave it a 3-star read, or 3-star rating. It wasn't anything like special. I wouldn't like write home about it, but I did have a good time. I think it'd be like a fun, quick, easy read for like the summer. Maybe you're going to the beach, maybe you're going to the pool, and you just want to have like a fun little book to read. Maybe you're a big Bravo Below Deck fan. Maybe you like yachting. There was a lot of information about yachting on here. But it just got for me to the point where I felt like we were really jumping the shark, if you will, with some of the things that were happening in this book. Like, it just hit my level, my willingness to suspend disbelief, and then it went past that. And I tried to extend that level for myself. I tried to suspend disbelief further than I like normally would have, and then we pushed it again. And because of that, I just didn't love it. The last page of the book really sold it for me, and that's why I didn't get like a 2-star rating. But it was fun. It was an enjoyable, quick read. 3 stars. And then I read Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera, which actually ended up being my favorite read of the month. So this, again, is if you like true crime podcasts, especially like investigative ones, then I would highly recommend this. You get both the main character Lucy going through her own story, and then you also get to read the transcripts of the podcast episodes that are coming out. I really enjoyed this. I did think that there was some questionable ethics happening in here, which I think worked for the story, but I do wonder, and I don't know if this was intentional, but I do wonder if it was kind of like a nod towards the exploitation that I feel a lot of true crime podcasts participate in when they're talking about true crime. So I used to listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and in the last like few years I've kind of stepped away from that and have been kind of reflecting on why I listen to so many true crime podcasts. I just feel like there's so many times I see online of victims' families being like, we didn't agree to this podcast. We didn't agree to this documentary being made. And so, like, at that point, like, who are you really trying to help? And oftentimes in the true crime space, people aren't talking about the victims and naming the victims. They're talking about the people who killed them. And the people who killed them are the ones getting, like, the fame of being a murderer. And that feels kind of gross to me. And so, I did feel like there was a little bit of exploitation for Lucy with some of the things that happened in here, and I don't know if that's just me reading into it or if the author actually meant for that to happen. But that's just my take. I did really love it. I pictured Matt Shearer the whole time when I was when I was reading it and picturing the podcaster, which both Charlotte and I thought was absolutely hilarious. But I really liked it. There was also some things with like this voice that Lucy had going on in her head that I didn't necessarily love, though it did end up making sense. I just felt like it was like too much. It was like we got the bit. It could have been like brought down a little bit. But overall, I really, really enjoyed it. The grandma was my favorite. I couldn't imagine being in Lucy's situation. I don't think I would have been as strong, but so those are the books that I read. 2 books completed and 1 book halfway completed. I think that's pretty good, especially after last week when we had a really good reading week. So anyway, that's the end of the vlog, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!